everybody, how's it going? Steve here, and Merry Switchmas to all of you who celebrate. Obviously, we are on the eve of Switch 2 pre-orders here in the US, with them starting at 9 p.m. tonight, 12 a.m. Eastern, but that's not really what I want to talk to you about, at least not directly, because along with the Switch 2, we know we're going to be able to pre-order our physical games, but we know surprisingly little. But information out of Japan might be just giving us a sneak peek on what we're exactly going to be able to buy, and the news is that a lot of third-party games are on key cards. Now, if you don't remember, let me catch you up to speed. Switch 2 key cards are essentially physical licenses for eShop games. They basically replaced the Switch 1 code in a box thing that we saw this last generation that people didn't really love, with something that at least gives you some additional benefits over a code in a box. A Switch 2 key card is something that you have to insert into your system to be able to download the entire game from the eShop. There's no actual data on the card itself. And while that may be somewhat limiting or unappealing, especially to physical collectors, what it does do is it enables you to share those digital games with friends, to trade or sell them, or even buy them used potentially, because you don't tie the key card to an account. It's just its own thing. So it's basically like a hybrid of a physical and a digital game. Now, of course, for collectors, that doesn't make a whole ton of sense, because if the servers ever go down, that means that you can't play these games any longer. So there are good reasons to both like and dislike key cards. Where you stand on that, let me know in the comments, but let's talk about the situation and what we've learned. Switch 2 game pre-orders in Japan are now live, and they've illuminated some information about exactly which games are going to utilize the key card feature. And spoiler alert, it's most third-party titles. Almost every single one, in fact. Cyberpunk 2077 is the notable exception here. It is shipping on a physical card everywhere in the world, as far as I'm aware, as of the publication of this video anyway, but I have no reason to believe it won't be. Let's talk about the games that are, though. Here's the full list. Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster, Nobunaga's Ambition, Shine Post, which is a Japan exclusive, Wild Hearts S, Survival Kids, Bravely Default Flying Fairy, Kunitsugami, Yakuza 0, Puyo Puyo Tetris 2S, Daemon X Machina, Raido, Sonic X Shadow Generations, and Street Fighter 6. Now, we know that some of these in America at least are already confirmed to be on game cards. Street Fighter 6 is one of the most notable examples on this list. However, things get interesting because we also have confirmation, or at least pre-orders have already begun for Daemon X Machina here in the US and in the UK, and the marketing for that indicates that those will be on physical cards, not on key cards. So it seems like Japan's approach is not necessarily consistent with what we'll see in the rest of the world, though we don't have very long to wait. I'm of two minds on this. I primarily purchase games on the eShop because the portability of the Switch makes me want to have as many games accessible at a time as possible without having to swap cards. However, I tend to purchase games that I truly love physically so that I can have them for my collection years from now. And also I buy games that I'm going to share with other members of my family, like my kids or my wife, so that I don't have to double or triple dip after going digital. Now, Nintendo's upcoming virtual game card feature may change that, because now you can share digital games with other people in your family group over local Wi-Fi or over the internet, even, depending. There's still some question marks in my mind about how that's going to work, but that should be coming in the next week or so. So that could potentially add another layer of complexity and more incentive to buy digital. It seems that Nintendo really wants people to go digital this generation, which would make sense, especially in a world where the economic climate is uncertain, tariffs are high, and things are changing day to day. One place where things may not be impacted as much would be digital products, because they're not technically imported from anywhere. So let me know what you think. Are you going to pick up these even if they are on key cards, or is a key card a deal breaker for you? Would you just buy on eShop instead of getting a key card? And if so, why? I personally am of the mind that if I really like a game, even if it's on a key card, I really just want to see the physical box on my shelf, and it's better than not having anything. And personally, I don't really hate the idea that I can loan a key card out to a friend and let them download the game, and I won't lose it. It's kind of an interesting scenario, because obviously this lets you share a digital game with somebody outside of your family group. But still, If I'm being honest, my ideal solution would be that these just ship on regular Switch 2 cards. It's hard to say if this is because of supply constraints or size restrictions. I'm leaning towards it being supply constraints or just that they're cheaper. Because obviously, if a game like Cyberpunk 2077 can fit entirely on a single Switch 2 card, then Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 can as well, or even Yakuza 0. So I don't think this is necessarily because of the capacity limitations of the cards. I think it's just because they may be a lot cheaper to produce and economic times are uncertain right now. But that's it. We'll know in 24 hours what the situation is here in the US and in the UK when game pre-orders kind of open up in full. It'll be interesting to see because I'm going to be alongside the rest of you pre-ordering a Switch 2, hopefully, fingers crossed, and we'll find out what happens together. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned to GVG for all things Switch 2. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when videos go up. And if you'd like to support us, it would mean the world. Patreon.com/GVG Gaming is where you can find out how to get involved. And that's it. That's all I've got. Until next time, folks. Bye.